Yeah, what's good, YouTube? We back with a reaction on this channel. It's been a minute since I posted a reaction on this channel, you know? So let's go ahead and take a look see. Let's take a look see. The biggest games coming in 2025. You know, is there any games that y'all are interested in? Let me know in the comment section. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go back to it. So this is from IGN. So let's take a look.
25 that we know about right now. Before we get started, just a friendly reminder, this video is by no means every single game coming out in 2025, but it's a whole bunch of them. We do a version of this video every month that covers upcoming game releases for that month, and those are generally a lot more comprehensive and up to date. But whether you're looking 1 month or 12 months ahead, game releases have a tricky tendency to shuffle around a bit. So depending when you watch this video, it might not be quite as accurate as it was when we made it, but we tried our best there. On February 14th.
So February 14th, Assassin's Creed Shadows came out. I keep hearing all about it. I should probably comp this game and play it on stream and stuff and make some videos on it. What y'all think?
Assassin's Creed Shadows sends Ubisoft's flagship open-world series into the much-requested setting of feudal Japan, and if you can't decide if you'd rather be a ninja or a samurai, great news, because this one lets you do both thanks to its dual protagonists. That's going to be on current gen and PC. If you're feeling lonesome on Valentine's Day, there's also Date Everything, a sandbox dating simulator where you may in fact be able to date an actual sandbox. And if not, there's 100 other anthropomorphized inanimate objects.
People really play this? Date Everything? This is like a date game? People actually play this? I ain't trying to come at nobody who actually be on these, but I didn't know that this type of stuff existed. Maybe I just live under a rock.
Which you can become romantically involved from the windows to the walls, or at the very least, the floor. And they're all fully voice acted. That's on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. On February 18th, Obsidian's Avowed hits Xbox Series and PC. This is set in the same fantasy universe as the studio's isometric Pillars of Eternity games, but in this case it offers a whole new point of view thanks to its first-person perspective and real-time combat. It may look like Skyrim, but don't expect an epic time sink. The devs have said it's more comparable to the Outer Worlds, which is great news for anybody who sucks at finishing games.
I live in the real world, my man, with bills and responsibilities.
Speaking of time sinks, if you think it's time to sink some ships and terrorize the high seas, well, you're in luck, because Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is, well, I feel like the title really kind of covers its bases there. This will see Goro Majima, the fan favorite foil and frenemy to its usual protagonist, taking the wheel somewhat literally after he gets amnesia on a beach and decides to explore a new career as a pirate. Classic Majima. That's on the Xboxes, PlayStations, and PC, February 21st. Pirate Yakuza actually moved its release date up a week to get the hell out of the way of one of the biggest games of the year, Monster Hunter Wilds, which comes to Xbox Series, PS5, and PC on February 28th. Again, it's one of those series that requires little introduction, especially after how many new players got hooked on Monster Hunter World last gen. With Wilds, Capcom is aiming to refine and improve the core experience in a way that satisfies longtime fans and newcomers alike, but also introduce new features that take advantage of current hardware to keep things interesting. Oh yeah, and it also needs to be accessible enough to attract more new players.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know nothing about these past couple of games. I don't know nothing about these Monster Hunter Wild. I've never heard this. Split Fiction, Tales of Shire. It doesn't even interest me.
So if you're wondering why this game has taken so long, that might have something to do with it. On March 6th, it's time to buddy up for another co-op adventure from Hazelight, the studio behind It Takes Two and A Way Out. This time it's Split Fiction, which sees sci-fi and fantasy authors getting stuck in virtual reality and undergoing a bunch of bizarre adventures together, including, but not limited to, getting turned into pigs, who are subsequently turned into hot dogs and then...
The freak? You got a pig over here flying? Turning into pigs? You flying? You got smoke coming out his ass? Like, what is this?
cooked on the grill. And yes, the hot dogs are playable.
Hot diggity dog.
Best of all, buying one copy lets two people play online together. That's on PC and current gen. On March 25th, you can experience the upper middle class corner of Upper Middle Earth with Tales of the Shire, a cozy life sim that focuses entirely on ordinary hobbit life. You know, for regular hobbits who just like to garden and smoke pipes and drink brandy and have petty rivalries over trivial neighborhood bullshit and probably post mean things on Nextdoor, not, you know, going on long hikes to throw jewelry into a volcano. It sounds lovely. Be a shame if this Shire were to be, I don't know, ruthlessly scoured by ruffians in the thrall of Saruman, perhaps?
There's mud, trod in the carpet, they pillaged the pantry. I'm not even going to tell you what they've done in the bathroom. They've all but destroyed the plumbing.
Well, anyway, that's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. If you prefer to explore a version of the Shire-like pastoral English countryside that's been doused in radioactive particles, there's Atomfall. Hopefully you've put this together, but it's taking some cues from Fallout. This one also leans a bit more into survival than role-playing though, so I think the Stalker influence is also pretty strong. Plus, it's also showing an alternate future in which a major real-world nuclear disaster went a whole lot worse. That's coming to everything but Switch on the 27th of March. To me, DNF has always been short for Did Not Finish or Duke Nukem Forever, which they probably shouldn't have finished, but to a few million other people it is shorthand for Dungeon and Fighter, the multimedia universe that stems from the 2005 South Korean multiplayer...
I ain't gonna lie, the graphics on this game look great. These type of games don't really interest me though, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a gamer, but I'm not a gamer, if that makes sense.
Beat 'em up that was released stateside as Dungeon Fighter Online. In any case, that universe gets a little bit bigger with the single-player action RPG, The First Berserker Kazan, which hits the Xboxes, PlayStations, and PC on the 27th as well. On March 28th, the potential Sims killer Inzoi hits PC. This is another South Korean joint, which is hands down one of the prettiest video games I've ever seen. If this one delivers, I could very easily see it being one of the biggest games of the year. Something tells me that after 11 years, 12 game packs, and 17 expansions for The Sims 4, Sims fans might be in the market for something new and different. And there are a lot of Sims fans out there, so I guess they should probably check this one out. That's on PC for now, with current gen console versions in the works. On April 24th, Fatal Fury gets its first new game this century with City of the Wolves. And while Terry Bogard and Mai Shiranui and company have kept busy with appearances in other fighting games like King of Fighters, Street Fighter, DOA, Tekken, and even Super Smash Bros., this will be the first mainline Fatal Fury since 1999's Mark of the Wolves, so hopefully it's worth the wait. That's on both PlayStations, Xbox Series, and PC. Now, as of writing the script for this video, those are all the major games that currently have release dates, though there's plenty more that we're expecting in 2025. By April, we will almost definitely know when Nintendo's next console will be released.
Yeah, I heard about the Nintendo Switch too. I think they're making another Mario Kart game. Of course, they make a Mario Kart game with each Nintendo console, I've noticed. But is anybody in here, anybody watching this video interested in getting the Switch too? I have the Switch. I would get it just because I like this. I like playing Mario games. Low key. I wouldn't mind like getting Super Mario Wonder and stuff like that and streaming it. I ain't trying to be a strictly Mario person because I never really was. But I do enjoy playing Mario. I'll admit that.
But as of right now, we don't even know what it's officially called. Nintendo has announced that details will be revealed sometime before the end of March 2025, and based on some leaked product listings for third-party accessories, there's some speculation that it's targeting a summer release window. Again, this is completely unconfirmed at this point, but it makes sense. The original Switch was revealed in October 2016, and it went on sale the following March, and the organic buzz generated by gamers and early adopters made it a must-have item by the time the holidays rolled around. Whatever this new thing is called, it'll launch with at least a few games. The original Switch had about 10 games available day one, which sounds underwhelming until you remember that one of them was Breath of the Wild, which kept us busy just fine. It got another dozen or so over the 3-month launch window following its release. Now, bear in mind, a lot of people were skeptical of the Switch at the time of its launch, including publishers who'd been burned by the Wii U. The Wii had been
Even knew, like when I first heard of the Switch, I didn't really care for it like I do now. Like, I just thought it was dumb. I ain't gonna lie, I'm being honest. But looking back at it, it's cool. The only issue I had with the Switch is the fact that, for example, right? Out of all game consoles I've ever had, the Switch gave me the most problems. I'm being honest. This is like my third Switch. Let me give you a little background story. My first Switch, right? It was a Switch Lite. I didn't know what I was getting. I just bought a Switch. It was a Lite. My dumb ass thought you can connect it to the TV until after I bought it. So what I did was I gave it to somebody who I felt deserved it. You know, someone who was looking out for me and everything. And I really appreciated this individual. Shout out to you, bro. I gave him my Switch and all my games. You know, because he's more of a Mario lover than me. So that's cool. That was different. My second Switch, that shit broke because I left it in the thing that you plug into the TV, the little tablet part of the Switch, you plug it into the TV. I left it in there and it ended up overheating, and the battery started getting heated up real bad, and the next thing you know, it don't work anymore. My current Switch, the same thing happened, but then it started working again randomly. I wasn't able to use my current Switch for months. It's one of the reasons why, like, I may have noticed, if for those of you that follow me playing Mario Kart and stuff like that, you may have noticed I haven't posted a Mario Kart video for quite some time because I couldn't. Like, I love this Switch, but even the Nintendo Wii didn't give me these type of problems. You know, it's the freaking portable Nintendo consoles I got a problem with. It's like my DS, for example. My DS, I still got this shit. It's right here. The stylus. Everybody knows about the stylus with the DS. DSi and DS Lite, DSi XL, whatever. Everybody know about the stylus. That's one thing. And I don't know a single person who had the DS for longer than 3 months where either their R or L button stopped working. Like, like everyone experienced that. Some people have them both messed up, or one stops working, or say if the trigger falls up. Like, the Nintendo consoles, I would say handheld consoles gave me the most problems. I would say the only handheld console that gave me the least problems was the Game Boy. Back when I was younger, looking back at it, it never really gave me no problems. It's these handheld consoles. Because my Nintendo Wii still works to this day. And I'm letting y'all know I got good history when it comes to keeping consoles. I still got my Wii. I had that Wii since I was in the 5th. My Nintendo Wii, the one that I have right here in front of me, I'm looking at right now, I had it since I was in the 5th grade. I'm going on 27 now. And I had this thing since I was in the 5th grade. It still works and everything. I played it on stream the other day. So that's proof. My PS3, I had that since I was in like the 8th grade. It still works to this day. My PS2, I ain't gonna lie, this is my second one because I had the original PS2. I had the Slim at first. And it got messed up because over time, I had it for like 10 years. You know, at the time when it started messing. It messed up like on this 9.5 going on 10 years of me having it. So I had to buy another PS2 from the pawn shop. You know, so I think that's valid. I still got all my, other than the PS2, I still got my original PS3, my first PS3, I still have that. And I still got my PS4, my PS5, which obviously is the newest one. All that shit worked. So you mean to tell me that shows that I got good history when it comes to taking care of my game consoles. I don't have a history of my shits breaking. The Nintendo Switch is the only console I've ever had that broken on me multiple times. And I have a problem with that. So, Nintendo Switch 2, please do not give me no issues. Please. I beg of you.
Been such a hit that there was initially a ton of support for its successor, and the Wii U's launch lineup was almost 3 times the size of what was out for the Switch on day one. Considering that the Switch has outsold the original Wii by almost 50 million units at this point, and it's currently the 3rd best-selling console of all time, I think it's safe to assume that a lot of publishers will want to get it on the ground floor of whatever's next, so I have a hunch there's going to be a few Switch 2 games day one.
Is that right? You could be right. You're so right!
There are a couple bigger Nintendo games we are expecting to drop this year. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was basically just a logo for the better part of the decade.
I ain't never played Metroid. Like, I know about Metroid because of Samus and all of that. And I only know about Samus because of Super Smash Bros. Like, there's a lot of Nintendo games I don't really play like that. I'm not really into Nintendo games other than Mario. Like, I never played Legend of Zelda or Pokemon and all that. You might say I'm bugging. It's cool, but I've never really gotten into these games like that. It's okay. For those yet I feel a type of way, just explain it in the comment section. It's cool. I ain't tripping.
Presumably, it'll actually be a video game at some point in the near future, which is very exciting for Metroid fans. That's coming to Switch, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was also one of the big flagship launch titles for the new console as well. And even if it's not, the new hardware is supposedly backwards compatible, so I'm sure plenty of people will be playing it on there either way. Pokemon Legends ZA is also slated for 2025, which is another entry in the open-world action RPG side series. Pokemon Legends Arceus took some big swings, but it also...
Okay, I ain't gonna lie. There was one Pokemon game I've gotten into temporarily, only because everybody else is into it and I wanted to see the hype. That was Pokemon Go. I know a lot of y'all remember that one. Motherfuckers like me that didn't even play Pokemon was on that shit. Everybody was outside in your downtown areas and everything. People was car hopping. People was in cars collecting Pokemon. They had full cars. All you see is everybody playing Pokemon Go in every seat of the car. Everybody walking around, gotta catch them all and all that. I would say Pokemon Go definitely made a mark, and that's a game that would never be forgotten. I don't think anybody play it that much anymore, but when it first came out, Pokemon Go was that shit. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm not even a Pokemon player, and I'm saying that.
Made the Switch show its age in some areas, so hopefully this one can benefit from some more powerful hardware as well, or at the very least improve on the groundwork laid by Arceus. A rising tide raises all ships, and a new Nintendo console will definitely help keep the games industry afloat a bit, but the other big 2025 release that's sure to make some waves is Grand Theft Auto 6. I don't need to tell you how much excitement there is for this game.
Man, all I'm seeing is memes. People over here talking about something. Yeah, we got the new album from Drake and Party Next Door before we get Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, come on, man. You can't lie. A game like this will take a long time to create. I'm expecting a lot from GTA 6. I was a big GTA 5 player back then on the PS3 and the PS4. That was my shit. I'm expecting a lot because GTA 5 is an amazing game. You cannot lie. Out of all games in history, GTA 5 made it through 3 generations of gaming. Literally, that's the only game that's actually done it and adapted and progressed with time. That game came out since the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, man. I was in fucking high school, a freshman in high school when that came out. And now it's on PS5 and Xbox Series and all that. Let that sink in. It went through all those. GTA 5 was one game that was relevant for a long time. So with GTA 6, man, I know they try to make the goal to make this game relevant for 20 years instead of 10. So yeah, they gotta go in. And by the way, Rockstar, when are we gonna get another Bully? I keep hearing about Bully 2, this, people making up videos and all that. I'm just coming across it. Bully 2, this, Bully 2, that. How we get a Red Dead Redemption 2 before a Bully 2, Rockstar? Come on, now. You can't do us like that, Rockstar.
GTA 5 is the second best-selling game of all time, and after a 12-year, 3-console generation wait, people really want to see what Rockstar does next. I'm calling it right now. It's probably going to be the best-selling game of the decade, and almost definitely the best-selling game of 2025, assuming it comes out in 2025. It's worth noting that practically every major Rockstar release, GTA or otherwise, has been hit by a delay or 2 or 3 or sometimes even more than that. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's several months, sometimes things get kicked into the next year. So fingers crossed we get GTA 6 on time, but also, expect disappointment and you won't ever be disappointed. However long it takes, I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. This game looks fucking awesome. Now then, it's time for the huge big pile of games that we are expecting at some point in 2025, but which don't have specific release dates quite yet. It makes it really hard to figure out what order to put them in, but also chances are by the time you're hearing me list these all off, a few of them will have been given release dates or maybe even gotten delayed a year. So just keep in mind that all of this is subject to change in some way, and please don't be mad at me for things I do in this video or just otherwise. Just be kind.
I want you to be nice. Okay.
Hideo Kojima fans are eating good in 2025, or at the very least, eating snakes.
I like Metal Gear Solid. I ain't gonna lie, like, I never sat down and actually beat a whole Metal Gear Solid game. But Metal Gear Solid is fire. Like, I played Ground Zero and Phantom whatever. Like, I love that. I love Metal Gear Solid. Like, this is a game I have to actually get into and enjoy, like really enjoy. This is one of these games. I never even heard of this game. This one right here. I knew there was a new one coming out, but I didn't know the exact name of it, and it's called Snake Eater. Okay. Because, yeah, Snake is the main character. I ain't gonna lie, I only know who Snake is because he's in Super Smash Bros. That's the only reason why I know who he is. I ain't gonna lie. And looking back at it, I'm surprised he even made it to Super Smash Bros. He doesn't really seem like a Nintendo character. But hey, I love this shit. Stealth games.
Metal Gear Solid Delta, the full modern remake of the fan-favorite third entry in the tactical espionage action series, will be coming to current-gen consoles and PC. And while Hideo Kojima has had no direct involvement with it, aside from, directing the original, it seems like a lot of care is being taken on Konami's part to not totally f*** it up. This showed up in a PlayStation promo that dropped last January, showcasing big, huge 2024 PlayStation releases, and a November 17th release date was briefly leaked by GameStop alongside the Collector's Edition, but was apparently inaccurate. So it seems like we'll be getting this sooner than later, but you never know. That'll be on PS5, plus Xbox Series and PC. Meanwhile, Kojima's next big thing is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, which will exclusively drop Anchor on PS5 at some point in 2025, but will presumably wash up on PC, Xbox, and maybe even Mac and iOS later on if the first game's rollout is anything to go on. The other big PS5 exclusive we know about right now that's coming out this year is Ghost of Yotei, Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I definitely want to get this because it's made by Sucker Punch. I know I fuck with Sly Cooper, and I do mess with Infamous, Only thing I say with Infamous, I never beat the first one. I beat the second one, and I beat Second Son. I even beat Festival of Blood and Infamous First Life. I never beat the original Infamous with Empire City and Cole McGrath. I never beat that one. That's on me. But one thing I can say is, Ghost of Tsushima was fire. Ghost of Yeti, I'm expecting it to be just as good or better. I loved that game. The game was fire. I ain't gonna lie though. That game be pissing me off though. Ghost of Tsushima, I had rage moments in that game. Definitely gonna be streaming this game when it come out. No lie.
Which is next open-world samurai game. While many games target fall release windows, Sony has a tendency to drop major first-party games earlier in the year. For instance, Ghost of Tsushima was a July release, and The Last of Us Part 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart were both June releases, and God of War 2018 was an April game. But then again, God of War Ragnarok came out in November, so go figure. Hopefully, we get the samurai game in 2025 during one of the months that falls between 2024 and 2026, so we can play it on the PlayStations, which is what you do with the video game. Sony's been playing stuff annoyingly close to the chest lately, but we have a better idea of what Xbox has in the works. There's Fable, which is dusting off the beloved fantasy RPG series from a few console generations back, but this time Playground Games has been given the keys and is taking the wheel, if you'll pardon the car expression.
I'll allow it.
Playground, of course, is the studio behind the Forza Horizon series, as in that is literally all they've publicly done, so I am dying to see what they do with an RPG. I don't historically give a shit about racing or cars. I can barely drive in real life, but somehow I sunk 120 hours into Forza Horizon 5. So if they can make me enjoy something I don't care about that much, I am dying to see what they do with an epic fantasy game that has wizards and fart jokes and large frogs, because all that stuff is stuff I'm interested in. Anyway, if you're interested in that too, that'll be on Xbox Series and PC at some point. Another game that probably involves some other large swamp creatures and magic is South of Midnight, which is a Southern Gothic fantasy action-adventure from the studio behind We Happy Few that's hitting PC and Xbox Series as well. Hey, you know what game looks really fucking awesome? Doom, the Dark Ages. I want to specifically call out one gun in particular. It's the one that grinds up skulls and shoots them at stuff because that is so over the top and metal. It is just hilarious. There's also a shield with saw blades on it, which seems like a safety hazard. And you can ride a dragon because why not? And oh yeah, Doom guy has a little fur cape, which it works better than I was expecting. I love what they're doing over there. Each new iteration of Doom feels like a more evolved form of the shit that I was angrily scribbling in the margins of my math homework back in 5th grade. So keep doing what you're doing, id.
No, I have no relation to this game. Nothing. I don't know shit about Doom. Got nothing to say.
I appreciate you. Obviously, Doom the Dark Ages is going to be on PC and also Xbox Series, and it's also going to be on PS5 as well. Speaking of Xbox published games coming to PS5, you can expect Indiana Jones and the...
It's an Indiana Jones game? Man, you know this game's going to have a lot of puzzles on some Uncharted shit. I can already tell. I can already tell. Solving puzzles and then a rock falls out of nowhere and it's trying to run you over. I could already see.
Great circle to make its way to the console with a circle button sometime in the first half of the year. And speaking of Xbox published games based on Disney-owned intellectual properties...
They making a Blade? No way. I knew they was coming out with Wolverine. Marvel's Wolverine. I didn't know they was making a Blade game. Nah, you gotta cop this. Especially if it's Marvel's, but I bet you it's made by Insomniac too. Insomniac is a good company. Like, I never seen them play. I never seen any other games other than Spider-Man. And I did see the Ratchet and Clank thing. I noticed that they are good when it comes to like chaotic cutscenes and a dramatic beginning. They reel in your attention and stuff. I noticed they're good with doing that.
There's also a chance we'll see Arcane's Blade game at some point in 2025, though that is a pretty big if. Game development is arguably an even slower and more difficult pursuit than ice skating uphill, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Daywalker didn't see the light of day until 2026. But hey, on the bright side, that's not the only Marvel game in the works. There's also Marvel 1943, The Rise of Hydra, which is slated for 2025. This is from Skydance New Media, the studio being run by Amy Hennig, who you may know for her work on Uncharted, Legacy of Kain, or Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. This game will see Captain America teaming up with Black Panther during World War II, specifically Azuri, who is the grandfather of T'Challa. Also, this isn't to be confused with the other Black Panther game that's being developed by Cliffhanger Games, which seems like it...
So yeah, this is different than the... So there's a Black Panther game coming out too? And this is different. Why did I pause here? What the fuck?
Probably...
There we go. But yeah, I never heard of this one. Not Marvel 1943, because you know, originally Captain America came from this time period, so... It makes sense, and Black Panther is like, there's always been a Black Panther for each like generation and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's see what else they got to say.
Even further away. A bunch of long-awaited sequels or otherwise new installments in established series are dropping in 2025. Borderlands 4 is the first numbered entry in Gearbox's looter shooter since 2019, and hopefully a new game generates better interest than the movie adaptation did. That's on new gen and PC.
Borderlands? I ain't gonna lie, I never played Borderlands. Let's see what they got done. Borderlands, Skate, Crazy Taxi. I used to love Crazy Taxi.
If you prefer grind rails to loot grinds, Skate 4 is finally expected to enter early access this year, though.
One thing I know about Skate, I played it. I played the old one. I think it was Skate 2 or something in the past on the PS2 or whatever. But Skate is good if you like skateboarding. That's pretty much it. It's literally just a skateboard game. There ain't really nothing else to it. You know, I'm not really a skateboarder or nothing like that. I don't even like... I couldn't even see myself on a freaking hoverboard. Like, yeah, I'll bust my tail on this shit. But skate, yeah. If you're a skateboarder, I highly recommend.
They actually dropped the number off of that entirely and put it all in lowercase for some reason. Before you get too excited, it's worth noting this is going to be a free-to-play live service title published by EA, so adjust your expectations accordingly.
I see what you did there.
Meanwhile, Crazy Taxi is getting a similar treatment, and Sega's arcade/Dreamcast classic is being reinvented as an open-world MMO, and there have been some rumors that it's going to drop in 2025, but you never know. At least one of these games better have The Offspring on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
If you like sand...
Nah, I used to love Crazy Taxi. I ain't gonna lie. I have so much memories with this game. Crazy Taxi was my game. Yeah. Damn, that shit bring back memories.
Well, get excited, I guess, because we got a couple literal sandboxes on the way. There's Dune Awakening, the survival RPG based in Frank Herbert's spicy sci-fi universe, or rather on the titular planet of Arrakis, where all the sand and the spice is. There's also Crimson Desert, the single-player RPG set in the universe of Black Desert Online, though based on all the trees and greenery, Crimson Desert doesn't actually appear to be taking place in a desert. I don't know whose decision that was, but I think they should get a talking to. One game that's set in the exact opposite of a desert is Subnautica 2, which will surface in early access at some point this year. It'll have been over a decade since the first game entered early access, and it's attracted its fair share of admirers since then, so hopefully the sequel floats their boat, or does some other nautical thing that applies here. I don't know. It's submarines, really. Is that even a boat? It's a U-boat. Is it a U-boat or a me-boat? Sorry, I'll stop.
I like the cut of your jib.
What's a jib?
If you prefer stacking the deck to swabbing it, hey, there it is. There's also Slay the Spire 2, the follow-up to the hit roguelike deck builder that debuted way back in 2017. If you'd rather slay some big scary monsters and whatnot, there's also Hell is Us, which looks like a Souls-like, but the jury's out on whether or not it actually is. What it is a third-person game with melee combat and exploration that probably will be a good diversion for Soulsborne fans waiting around for whatever arcane fuckery FromSoft is cooking up. Hey, would you believe that I started writing this script before the Game Awards had aired? Because as it just so happens, the arcane fuckery that FromSoft has been cooking up is Elden Ring Night Rain, a standalone
I ain't never played the Elden Rings. I ain't never got into Elden Rings, but I do know one thing. This game was a rage game. Like, it's one of them games you get stuck on a boss for like an hour or two or something. That's from what I've seen of it. Yeah. Will be good content. I never played the first one, so it's all good. If y'all want me to play it, it's cool. But since I don't have to, then hey, I'm taking advantage.
Co-op survival game due out relatively soon. This is basically swapping the plotting grind of the main game for a more streamlined dash to gather runes and gear up on a remixed and shuffled map with the lands between that gets even freakier when the sun goes down, and there's also a rapidly shrinking circle of acid rain to contend with, or a ring of rain, if you will. So it's kind of like Fortnite in a weird way, but it's also clearly something else entirely. As much as I love how FromSoft has gradually refined that core Soulsborne experience, this feels like a direct response to all the creative ways that players have been approaching their games. You know, like doing speed runs with DDR mats, or beating the game without jumping or leveling up, or whatever, or making mods where every enemy has been replaced by Millennia and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's something I actually want to play, but I'm dying to see what other people do with it. I think streamers are going to have a field day, and I think it's going to get real weird. That's coming to all the PlayStation, Xboxes, and PC. BioShock fans have been waiting for a new installment even longer than GTA fans, and while it might not be an official entry in the series, Judas is very clearly a spiritual successor, and it's being overseen by Ken Levine, who first took us to Rapture and Columbia. We'll supposedly be seeing that in 2025 at some point, and of course there's also the possibility that 2K unveils an official BioShock as well, which we've been hearing rumors about for a cool minute now. Hey, speaking of 2K and GTA, if you think Rockstar's open-world crime epic has too much twerking and TikTok and stuff like that, you'd rather your crime was a little more old-fashioned and organized, there's also Mafia, the Old Country, and this looks like it's expanding the Olive Garden's core philosophy of when you're here, you're family, in a big turn-of-the-century Sicilian sandbox. Look for that on New Gen and PC sometime this summer. Capiche?
Well, do you understand?
Everything except capiche.
If you enjoy silly first-person RPGs in space with real-time combat and an Arabic numeral 2 in the title, The Outer Worlds 2 is exactly that. That's coming to Xbox Series and PC. If you like serious isometric RPGs in fantasy realms with turn-based combat that faithfully recreates D&D's 5th edition rule set, and a Roman numeral 2 in the title, Solasta 2 is also exactly that. That's coming to PC and probably consoles at a later date. If you thought No Man's Sky had too much sky and not enough mans, well, Hello Games has been hard at work on their next ridiculously ambitious project, Light No Fire. This swaps the deep space interplanetary sci-fi exploration for a fantasy realm that you can wander around in with some friends. Also, this fantasy realm just so happens to be on a planet that you can explore that is literally the size of Earth, like 1-to-1, which, I don't know if that's clear, is a very large place. If you don't believe me, go play Flight Simulator. Or just go outside, whichever. Light No Fire is currently only listed to PC, but it'll presumably come to other stuff after that. Oh, and hey, real quick, if this game doesn't have everything you hope it does at launch, maybe just give it a minute. If No Man's Sky has proven anything, it's that Hello Games will probably deliver in time. So if this game doesn't have enough dragons or whatever, don't send them death threats. Don't send anybody death threats. Just don't do that, all right?
Is that a threat?
If you're light on zombie parkour games and dying for...
I never played Dying Light, but I'm aware that it's a zombie game. I gotta keep that shit a try. They got a Wolf Among Us too. Hold on, let me see.
With Telltale's The Wolf Among Us 2, that was announced back in
I never beat the first one. I played the first episode of it, but I never actually beat The Wolf Among Us. That'll probably be a good series to try real quick on my stream. Something that I can actually finish. I don't think I've ever finished any game that I started streaming.
19, and last we heard it would come out in 2024, but it didn't. So maybe it'll come out in 2025. Or
Wait,
maybe...
didn't the Telltale series? Didn't the Telltale company go out of business? 'Cause I heard they went down for them. Because Telltale's biggest games was it was The Walking Dead. I played the entire series of that. That was fire. But one thing I can say about these Telltale games like these is good to play one good time, in my opinion. Any games like Telltale games, or Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, any of those type of games, it's good to play one good time and then never play it again. That's how I view those games. So yeah, I view those games like that. One good time, that's it. That's how I view this one.
It won't ever come out at all. I don't know. Meanwhile, Ark 2 was revealed in 2020, and initially that had a 2022 release date, and it obviously didn't hit that. Will it come out this year? Who knows? And finally, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was originally supposed to be out in early 2020.
So
I did an interview about that game at E3 2019. And
so this looks like this could be it for this video. Is any of these games catch your attention and all that? Let me know in the comment section. Is any games you plan on want me to play? You want me to buy it or anything? Let me know. We up out of here.